things.
You know what, Frank? You're good at getting people to listen. You know what I mean?
That's why I got the facial hair, buddy.
I got it. Now let's talk about this. G.I. Joe came out in the '60s, but the comic book in like '82, whatever. Do you think it promoted the U.S. military and just things like that, right?
I think maybe in the 80s when it came out, I think it might have a little bit. If you look at it then and now it's really far-fetched, the things that are going on, like in G.I. Joe and like the movie. You know, these things are not realistic at all.
Yeah, because the U.S. never gets involved
Well,
in things outside the U.S.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
But now it's more of an international thing. G.I. Joe is not just an American deal. Mm. But before, I think in the '80s it was only an American. Like they touted the American, G.I. Joe. But now I don't believe it does.
Okay, George.
I don't think that. I don't think it did anything to really promote the American enlistment of soldiers as much as it did something to placate the idea of murdering people in other countries and keeping it just very it's okay to just bust into another country that doesn't agree with our way of life, that doesn't have, I guess, at that point, Walkmans and what were they, VCRs?
I think they were cassette
and
players.
just kill them and murder them, and it's okay because we're trying to have milkshakes, and you know what I mean? It was very much the idea of it was okay, we're just shooting at stuff, and they're da.
So what do you think, Mike?
I think, and this is no disrespect to the creator Larry Hama.
Yep.
But I have to say that if you have a toy line and a cartoon that is selling, F-14 Tomcats and guns and tanks, then it cannot do anything but sort of implant the idea that it's good to join the U.S. military because, as the cartoon says, they'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble, which of course is propaganda because even by the 1980s, the U.S. was not fighting for freedom; they were fighting for corporate interests.
What? Since when?
And I must point out that their meddling in foreign affairs is what directly led to them being attacked on September 11th, 2001.
Wow!
And for that reason,
what the fuck does that got to do with G.I. Joe?
I
think he's trying to score brownie points to some chick right now.
No, I think what ideally someone who's a little bit more, I don't want to say educated, but a little bit more discriminating will understand that this is just a fantasy, it's just a cartoon, and it's enjoyable. But to someone who's less scrutinizing over their entertainment, this is propaganda. This can actually make them
for sure.
think it's
I know exactly
okay.
what you're saying. There's a way to interpret this to make it villainize it and make it absolutely terrible. But what it really is in the same idea of cowboys versus Indians.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was a game, that was a play, and So this was something that you look at cowboys versus Indians, and you go out in the field, and you all take sides, and you pick the last kid for soccer or whatever it is. This was just sort of a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
War is,
to
some degree, boys, a game. And this made toys out of it, and I loved it. I bought all the new toys.
You still have them. You still play with them every day. Well, listen, I can say this. I read G.I. Joe religiously as a kid, and as a kid, not knowing what I'm reading, I grew up, just hating every commie pig I saw. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Tell me what you know, you red phone. That's right. I remember, in grade 5 or grade 6, we had this new kid coming to our grade school, and he was an exchange student from Russia, and he's like, "Hey, everybody, it's Igor. It's his first day," and I just socked him right in the face. Yeah,
You commie pig, still with a broken arm. No, it absolutely is propaganda. It's U.S. propaganda. It's everything through. You're talking about 1982. This is the Ronald Reagan. This is the whole. Okay, sorry.
A hush falls over the crowd.
Apparently there's a lot of Republicans in this Canadian audience.
All right.
And as Canadians, with the G.I. Joe toys, they had them listed as Canadian here across the border. And you would get them and they'd have Canadian flag stickers. You know what I mean? This was just...
I want to point out that the Canadian G.I. Joe toys had different cities and I believe names. Our G.I. Joe toys, they were from Canadian...
Oh my God. Do you remember Regina Lewis? No, they did. They made it very, very... to the heart and soul of probably the generation that raised us more or less. You know what I mean? Like the people that came through the
But
Cold
then don't you
War
think
and-
it then manipulated our generation to believing what they thought was true?
Oh, I know. We all became so aggressive about Star Wars and.
But you know what? It was brilliant though as far as marketing because they had like every nationality was represented in the book.
Oh, don't forget Cracker. He was a great guy.
Cracker, I liked him too.
Now that Frank has listened to our opinions, have you changed your opinion? Or do you still feel the same way? You think
You know
G.I.
what?
Joe's A-okay?
I have changed my opinion. I think this show is something I'm never going to do again.
This show?
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Hey, it's a lot easier from the other side of the bar, eh,
It's
Frank?
totally easier from just serving guys
Hey,
drinks is way easier
fucking
than talking
poutine
to
and
you
drinks,
guys.
So
eh?
you
Yeah.
realize how hard our job is, right?
You know what, you guys almost changed my opinion, except I'm kind of going to give a little more faith to people reading these comics because they are comics. And people that, in general, people that read comics aren't.
What are they, geeks, Frank?
No,
What are they,
I'm gonna
nerds?
say they're not.
What are you saying?
They're not stupid.
They don't have cool
They're
facial
smart.
they're-
We're saying
they're-
they're smart.
They're doing a
They're- you know
suspension of disbelief.
They're not. They don't only read one comic. They're reading a lot. Like, so you're gonna read this, and you're gonna want to join the army. Okay, you're gonna read Spider-Man. You're gonna want to climb buildings and.
Yeah, Tony.
whatever.
Hello?
I'm sure you are.
I would like to paraphrase what you're saying is, if anyone takes away from this that they should go and join the military, they're probably already an idiot.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
dumbasses.
Okay, so to sum it up, guns are bad.
Guns are bad, and you know that. If you don't know right from wrong, then you know what?
Okay,
Yeah.
how about this? Let's thank Fogg for having us on the show, Tom Lucier, Frank as our guest, awesome, cast and crew, good job, thanks guys for coming out. No applause necessary. No applause necessary. It really was, and it was an average show.
Well, I mean, nobody's perfect.
But we do okay.
Yo, Joe!
Yo, Joe! Yo, Joe! Yo, Yeah!
And then Tony comes off the building.
Right?
There's no more room between us. If we get any closer, we're making a baby.
And
That's why I'm interviewing you first.
Uh-huh.
So I'm being all considerate.
Thanks.
Kind of a big deal.
thank you guys. Thank you very much for coming out.
So in about 10 minutes, we're going to tell everyone to be quiet for no reason.
All right.